Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debate.
All right. We are on again for another Catalyst Sprint. This is Catalyst Sprint number 6. And we've got a whole bunch of projects joining me on this episode to go through their Catalyst proposals and talk about exactly what they're building on the Cardano ecosystem. Our first guest up, we have AdaQuest, Marcin from AdaQuest. Then we have Simon Peters from Xerberus. And then we have Ben from NuFi coming on after that. And the last one up is Darlington from Lido Nation. So a couple of guests that have been on the podcast before, and I'm pretty excited to go through all this as well and find out exactly what's going on. Again, we do have a sponsor for this episode, and I'll just play their video. This one here is, again, Josh from Late Game Crypto. So let me just play the promo video here.
Hey everybody, Josh from Late Game Crypto here. I wanted to take this opportunity to share with you the intention of my Catalyst proposal to unlock the accessibility of Cardano-based video content to non-English speaking users around the world. Out of the top 20 countries with the most crypto users, 16 of them are predominantly non-English speaking, which is wild considering that a vast majority of content creators are only English speaking. There is a massive amount of crypto users out there that are interested in Cardano based on its values, its technology, and the opportunities that it offers, but they're just not being served by members of the community that are committed to education of the Cardano community. Approval of this proposal would allow me to equip Cardano content creators with refined use of AI tools for inexpensive translation solutions. I think this would give our ecosystem a competitive edge on other blockchain ecosystems that are not recognizing this value. So I hope you'll consider voting for my proposal, and I want to thank Pete from Learn Cardano for giving me the opportunity to share this.
So our first guest up is Marcin from AdaQuest. So go ahead and share your screen there, Marcin, and there we go. Camera's up and running. So first off, we're going to do this one a little bit differently compared to the other ones. We're going to get a little bit of a demo of the game itself. So Marcin's going to take us for a little tour, and then we're going to go through the Catalyst proposal. So Marcin, whenever you're ready, go for it.
Perfect. Thank you for having us, Pete. It was a pleasure not only to listen, but also to watch Learn Cardano. So great to have us. Since we are proposing several proposals on the Catalyst Fund 10, one of the main proposals is AdaQuest tournament feature, which was asked by the community. And we have already a mobile alpha, which is currently online. Everyone who likes can join this alpha. All you need is an AdaQuest Destiny, so it's a hero. You can get it super fast on our marketplace with the help of NMaker. So it's minted in a few seconds, and it's around 30 ADA. Yeah, that's what you have to spend to do this. I will share my screen in just a second and show you what is AdaQuest Mobile all about. So you see now a browser screen. It is optimized for any mobile because we are a web app. So if you join us and hit the play button on the website on your mobile, you will be able to create a character where you can choose from. This data comes, of course, from the Cardano blockchain. So you see, I have here several characters. Let's pick up this girl and name her, create a character, and you see it's like a typical RPG. You are able to customize, of course, your character. So you can choose in a first tab to choose a weapon, for example, or an armor. You can typically, like in an RPG, go inside and look what the NFT is offering. The nice thing about this NFTs, you will be able to gather inside the game. Super important. So everyone, since it's a free to play module that we are aiming for, every NFT will be available in the game. So you can equip trinkets like this ones, and helmets and shields and so on and so on. Yeah, so it's possible to show your whole inventory like in a typical RPG. So after you equip your character, it comes to the gadgets. So you are able to equip, let's say, a health potion and something like a special item like this chaos dices. Then beside this, of course, every different character class, like the mages or the barbarians or the elves or the dwarves, have different abilities. So RPG vibes over here. And finally, when you decide to equip your character with these abilities, you can look at it and see what kind of informations are delivered. And these are not NFTs, these are game assets that are available for everyone, of course. The main part is, of course, since we are in an RPG, you can distribute your points for your strength, armor, agility, and intelligence. We gave here 99 points, so it's something like a cheat. We can apply this, and I have just shortly reload the screen because you see then the stats like in a Dungeon and Dragons game where you have all the stats that influence your character, like your health, melee damage, fire damage. Of course, it's a fire mage and it said has a high fire damage, chaos damage, and so on. So you can influence not only with distributing the points here, but also by choosing the right weapons and the right armor. And after doing this, yeah, it's finally to find somebody you can fight against. And let me just quick reload here the screen. I hope I found somebody. Okay, here we go. Our test account is working. So then it's a typical duel mode like in Pokemon or you got Marvel, where you see your enemy, you see what this elf has equipped, because remember, I am a mage and fighting this elf, and then it's turn-based. And since the elf is faster, he will go first. Let's not forget this is optimized for mobile, so some stuff is not displayed the right way on this browser. You have also already sound, but I turn it off because of it will disturb my presentation. So you see, the goal is to go to 0 life points, and you can choose from different options like your abilities, your gadgets, and the standard attack. And you see the dice are rolled in a symbolic way. You got 15 seconds to decide for your next move. I will choose this little spark, and yeah, this attack is blocked by the elf. So the elf has now the turn and will attack me for 95 points. I dodge this. I will try now the physical attack and hit him for 69 points. Let's see what he will come around. He will use, okay, his special ability, Entangling Roots. You see my life points are going down. I have something like some damage over time and so on. And if I decide not to take any kind of these actions after 15 seconds, the character will attack automatically, of course. I hit him for 69 points. So in the end, it's all about, as I mentioned it in the start, to bring your enemy to 0 points, because then I hope I will do this. Okay, I need maybe another hit. Yeah. He will choose Barkskin, where he has more armor because he is now defending. I will take my health potion, and finally do another physical attack because this is working well. Okay, only 37 points. He could now heal, but it's an NPC, so he's not so clever and will only attack me for 95 points. I will dodge this. In the end, I hope, yeah, I finally beat him and get the victory sign. And usually there is a chest where you will get some items from the game. So this is AdaQuest in the current status. And we are already expanding this game experience by adding such a thing like the tournament feature. Yeah. So the tournament feature is something we like to add, and I will show you in a few seconds if it's good for you, Pete,
It
the
is.
presentation.
Yep, it's that was just a little bit over in time for the QA set. So go ahead and share your screen now for the presentation side of things, and we'll get into that. If there's any live questions, I'll try and slot them in right at the end. But we do have other guests waiting as well.
Super nice. Let's see if I can share my PowerPoint screen. So I got.
And while you get that ready, the game looks very polished, especially even on the mobile optimized screen there. It looks very nice. And so it's looking good.
Okay, let's see me because, let's start from the beginning and switch my window here to your. Here you go. Perfect. I can share this. I hope you can see, everyone can see this.
It's just loading up and away you go. Go for it.
Perfect. So you saw a couple of seconds AdaQuest, and we test this already with our community, and people loved this kind of battle going on, and they asked for tournaments. And this is what we like to implement. Yeah, tournaments, because since we are free to play, we need also a way to monetize. It's always about this, since we like to add more and more features. So AdaQuest tournaments is a feature asked by the community because these tournaments will be fully automatic and not needing a manual setup or something like this. So how gonna this work? It's a planned feature for the mobile, and the main difference is that you will be able to join free tournaments where you can earn an in-game currency, which is not a premium currency. And the other tournament format is premium. And premium, you will be able, as you see here in this mock-up, you will be able to earn ADA or another token. However, the sponsors will like to distribute things. There will be also possibilities for sponsors to sponsor tournaments and offer, of course, ADA, but the players will be also able to decide what kind of buy-in they like to share. Let's say we have a tournament where you have to need 10 ADA to start. Yeah, everything this will be possible because we need this kind of monetization, since we are a free-to-play game. So you see here, our basic player and items integration has nothing to do with the typical, usual mobile monetization where you got a premium currency or something like this. This fragments here over in the right corner on this mockup shows that you need fragments for all the nice stuff I showed you in the game presentation. And you need this to buy health potions, smoke bombs, whatever kind of magical stuff, or this fireflies here. So you need also some basic items which are not NFTs, but you will be able to play without spending any money. That's super important. So the tournament feature, is the only way for us to monetize, and it's a fair feature because it's like in a poker tournament. You got a pay or a buy-in, and you decide which kind of tournament you like to participate. And then, of course, you have to fight your way through a bracket. You know this from every sports. There is a bracket until there you reach the final and finally make this last fight and hopefully win the pot and win the big treasure chest with ADA and any kind of additional prices we will put in this treasures. So to make it more clear, it's not only an easy on-click in-game registration, but it's also that we have themed and sponsors tournament. That's the big plan for this. And you see here that what I already talked about, you got premium events and free events. Even people without spending any kind of ADA will be able to get a premium ticket in a free event, but you will have to win the free event to enter then with this ticket a premium event, or you just spend some ADA and participate directly in the premium event. So that's the idea behind this. You will have, of course, a player profile and achievement system. Everybody knows this from Steam and other platforms like Epic. Yeah, you have special events where you can earn, of course, badges and titles, which will be saved on the blockchain, on the Cardano blockchain, of course. Yeah, super interest. Also, if you plan to share your account or sell your account in the future because you stop playing. Yeah, this is what is not possible in Web 2. That's the great thing about Cardano and the blockchain, that you can finally decide what is happening with all the stuff you gathered through playing. Yeah, super interesting, I guess. And yes, in the end, it's all about getting this treasure like this dwarf. And for this, we need at least 2 months of work. So 1 month coding on backend and front end side. And in the end, 1 month of testing where we'll make an MVP available for the community to test. So this is what we are asking for. You can find it on the voting app. If you just enter AdaQuest, you will see AdaQuest tournaments and find it super fast to vote for. Yes.
Brilliant.
So
brilliant. So good timing there. Thank you, Marcin, for all of that and taking us through the whole AdaQuest ecosystem and the proposal there too. The game is looking very slick. I've always loved the NFTs and the graphics that you guys have put together. So absolutely beautiful. Now,
cool.
So thank you so much for your time. I do have a little applause button here. Hang on.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah, I got a little soundboard going now, so I've got that all working. But Marcin, thank you so much for joining me, and we've got another guest waiting to go on, so we'll chat again very soon. Okay.
Thank you for having us. See you soon.
See you soon. So as I just get our next guests in, we have Noah and Simon from Xerberus in for this here. Of course, they always come in when when it's live like this, and who knows what's happening. But we've got them on to talk about their Catalyst proposal about Xerberus and what they're doing there. So I absolutely love the project. And, you know, this is one of those tools that is absolutely fantastic, especially if you're speculating in different markets and you're following projects very closely. And I've seen the guys at work as well in various Discord servers, you know, drilling the team and finding out exactly what they're all about. But we've got their proposal here. We've got 5 minutes to go through the proposal, guys, and then we got a Q&A session about 7 minutes after that. So whenever you guys are ready, if you've got something to share on the screen, there's a little share screen button down below too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. Our proposal is quite long and complex, and it's the best to just start simple, so that people understand the core message that we want to bring over, and that is that what Xerberus is it helps you to understand the risk that is associated with a token, and we have very fancy models. How we go about that, and that alone is we can spend an eternity discussing how exactly it works, and maybe we'll dip into it. But the core message that everybody should get from the get-go is that Xerberus is about risk management. In risk management, what is risk? It's the probability that you lose money. So that's something that we all care about, and we've been looking in trying to solve this problem for quite some while, and also all and we came to the conclusion that most people have a very, people, and also this includes me and Noah and everybody else, right? We're looking for answers, right? We don't want that somebody throws us, some information and tell us, okay, now you judge. But people want to have some kind of they want to have answers, right? And that is what this catalyst proposal is really about, that we can build out our system and automate it as much that people don't need to rely on us anymore as a team to be in the discourse and drill down and ask the questions, but that everybody in the community can just look up a token and in one view understands, okay, that is the price risk associated with that token, that's the liquidity risk associated with that token, and that is the network risk. So the network risk is who else owns that token, right? Are you just sitting there with 20 hardcore traders, or are you sitting there together in a token with like 100 people who believe in a project and will hold on? So that's I think it's a good summary. Noah, you wanna take over?
Yeah, I think it's an excellent summary. I would just kind of say that what we're trying to when you look on when you look at financial institutions or financial ecosystems in general, you always hear this word like follow the money, right? When you're looking for somebody or you're looking for something, you follow the money. So our risk scores and everything we're doing right now is an exact interpretation of that process. What we do is we look and we follow the money on chain. So we look at specific patterns like maybe wash trading or team selling, or some more advanced things like skimming the trades or front running trades, and all of these actions have patterns on the blockchain itself, and these patterns are what we classify and categorize and what bring up about our risk score. So like for example, we measure the decentralization of wallets, for example, and how we measure the decentralization of a token itself is not just by saying how decentralized the token is itself, but we look at every individual wallet who holds that token and understand their decentralization as well, right? So we seek to give out macro level metrics like risk, like liquidity risk, like growth risk, like network risk, using micro level data. So individual transactions is what influences those macro scores that we get at the top. Yeah, I think that's a good summary. If there's any questions, Peter, you said you had some questions.
Yeah, so that's a good amount of time there. Let me just reset this timer for the QA session for you guys. Now, with the Catalyst proposal, how much are you guys asking for this particular proposal?
We are asking for 400K ADA, which is quite a sum. We go extremely detailed in our financial planning. Actually, when you see it out, when you look out our proposal, so we give every single line of expenditure that we're planning. Now, this one I want to share because I think this is literally something that Xerberus is all about transparency and and looking very closely into projects and asking the hard questions. So we said, okay, we start directly at the beginning. So you see everything. So this is a consolidated budget. So it's not only what we get from Project Catalyst, but also we are right now getting into a startup program by the UK government, which secures an indirect investment that we're getting. So it's basically we get a good bunch from a private investor, we get a good bunch from Catalyst. So you guys vote us for, and you can see basically everything from the salaries that we are getting to how much we pay our employees, how much we spend them every month in subscription, everything. You will see that the biggest part of our expenditure, more than anybody earning, is actually is server costs. So what we're doing into to derive this monitoring system, especially in the beginning, we need quite a lot of intense compute. Yeah, no, you wouldn't jump in.
Yeah, I can just maybe explain it really quickly. So for all you computer science nerds out there, we have a computation that we need to complete that has a complexity of big O n to the power of 3, which basically means that every calculation we do, we have to do it like cubed, so times itself. And then when you're trying to look at wallets, individual wallets compared to the rest of the ecosystem, we have to compare one wallet to 3 million wallets times 3 million times 3 million each time for each wallet. And each wallet gives one tiny aspect of the major macro risk score, right? So these statistical computations that we're doing are absolutely massive. I've never seen ever in my life a computer complain so much about how much computation power it needs until I started doing these risk scores. Something like sometimes it yells at me like we need like 3 terabytes worth of RAM, like just things that are impossible. So as we're building the system and as we're building these metrics up, we need to be able to get up to that higher level of computation to be able to understand what is good and what is bad, and then we can go back afterwards and reduce that computation price back down to what is accurate and what is needed. But first and foremost, we have to be able to like expand and then be able to like check our boundaries, if you will, see how far we can push it. And that's why the computation is so expensive currently.
Exactly, and that's exactly what we raised the Catalyst Fund for. All the other things like salaries or whatsoever are covered by our private investor. And what we really need Catalyst for is to run our big computational model, and you guys will directly benefit from it. So we run the calculation with the money from Catalyst, and you have free access to the results. So, and this is what we believe it's a Catalyst case.
Okay, yeah. And usually the server costs are the really fairly cheap. Most stuff is just a front end loading, but yeah, since it's computational power, it totally makes sense that it's going to chew up a lot of resources. Now, this now keeping that in mind, this project will go on indefinitely. Let's assume that. So, how are you guys going to fund yourselves in the future and keep the project going? So, you've got private investors; they would want a return on their investment at some point in time, and you can't rely on Catalyst every single fund for continuous support with the servers and whatnot. Do you have a business model behind this to keep the project going by itself?
Yes, absolutely, and yeah, absolutely. So the business model is this: we have a huge part of access to the risk model is for free. So you can access the basic answers. Okay, hey, what is the risk of that token? Maybe also what is the predicted price risk of that token. But there is another level of access for which you have to pay, and that is if you wanted the full data set, right? If you really want to understand and maybe run your own algorithms on top of our data sets, So what we give you is an exact description of all the risk associated with that. And now we can tell you, okay, this is risky, more risky than this asset. But maybe you are a hardcore quant trader and you want to, build your own risk models on top of that, or you have some kind of a DApp application that has some kind of a wants to adjust interest rates based on the riskiness of the collateral, something like that. And these advanced data sets, then we will charge for that. So yeah.
That is super exciting. That's Noah, did you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I'll try to be quick because I know we have a short time, but just to give like a little example, for example, one of our scores is a growth score, right? So it measures the inherent growth of an ecosystem, but a part of that score is the decentralization of an asset. And what I found from just my research and while I've been working is that there is a direct inverse correlation between price and decentralization. So when a token gets more and more centralized, the price goes up, and when a token gets more and more decentralized, the price goes down, right? So this metric is interesting, and you can use it technically for trading, because if you know that the decentralization is going down and the price is yet to go up, you can be fairly confident in the outcome of that price change, right? So we seek to monetize these types of fees, things like decentralization, things like number of holders, interactivity between holders through different ecosystems. These are highly valuable things for people like traders, people like who are really interested in investigations. Highly valuable data that we seek to monetize through that. I don't think we'll ever come back to Catalyst after this first round. Simon's really good about the economy, and he's been really talking about it since the beginning of how to make a circular economy about inputting data and then and getting that data back out. And so like a circular economy where the people who input the data get money and the people who take out data spend money, right? So yeah, I don't think we've ever once thought about coming back to Catalyst. Simon, did you have?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. For now, it's we're in a bear market, right? So Xerberus will happen either way. But we think what we're
We are
building is exactly. One question that we always get asked, and I love the question actually. We have, how many times do we get this question from investors, from people who meet us, like, why don't you do a hedge fund? Because that's what a hedge fund does. Like this calculations, this risk engine, right? That is literally what hedge funds do. That's why hedge funds perform everybody out, because they have all this quantitative data. And the reason why we don't want to build a hedge fund is because we believe in crypto and we believe in Cardano, and risk management is needed so that we make our system much safer, because we gotta, crypto is not, Cardano is not going to win if Cardano is not safer than banking. So we have this vision about creating a world a decentralized world, which, you know, it's better than banking, right? But right now, when we look into crypto, right, it's not. You know, we have so many rug pulls, we have so many bad actors, we have so many malicious exploits, we have so many vulnerable community members that are being tricked. And if we want to, I speak for the team. If I think about the future, right, and I think we're all like that. It's our generation, right? It's pretty damn scary, and the decentralized world is the only world that I want to live in, and we need something like Xerberus for that.
Absolutely brilliant. I cannot wait to get my hands on your product once you get it up and running. I think you've got a invite only beta at the moment. I didn't see my invite yet, but you know we'll work on that, right? We'll work on that.
I can
Okay.
give a bit of intuition behind that. So right now, the way we're still setting up these risk scores, right? So we have ones that are working, for example, like decentralization and growth. And other ones are kind of iffy right now, and it's very dangerous to put out these scores that are supposed to be the total collection of all data and immutable truths about things on the blockchain if they could be potentially wrong just because of some mathematical error I put here, or I forgot to make a plus over here, right? So we are hyper sensitive about people seeing the data right now, but as it gets more and more consistent, we are going to release it to more and more people.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on and talking through Xerberus and your Catalyst proposal as well. Now we do have our next guest waiting to come up on stage. I'll put all the links and references for the proposal in the show notes. So if anyone wants to find out a little bit more, they can do so. Everything's on the live stream as well. All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate the time.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you. So our next guest. So our next guest that's coming up is Ben from NuFi Wallet, and I always love what these guys come up with, the whole cross-chain wallet and everything that is around their ecosystem. So if you don't know about NuFi, it is an evolution of ADA Lite and is now one of the premier wallets that works on multiple different blockchains, and I absolutely love what the guys are doing. And this proposal is amazing too. It's called, let me just get the title right because it is a very long title. Onboarding Cardano's next 1 million Web2 users. Connect the DApp by logging in with a social account or email address via non-custodial plug-and-play invisible wallet solutions for dApps. Very long title.
Take a breath.
Yes, exactly. But Ben, you've got 5 minutes to go through the Catalyst proposal, and then you've got a 7 minutes QA session afterwards. So if you need to share your screen, there's a little share screen button at the bottom. Otherwise, take it away, and I'll start the timer.
Thank you so much, Peter. Firstly, thank you for having me. What I will do is share my screen right now. Okie dokie. Okay, here we go. So I'll first introduce myself. I'm Ben from NuFi. As Pete just said, NuFi is a non-custodial multi-chain wallet. We support Cardano, Milcomet C1, Ethereum, Polygon, Solana, and Flow. To the proposal. As Pete rightly said, our goal with this proposal is to help onboard Cardano's next 1 million Web2 users. By Web2 user, we mean basically the mass market, so non-crypto users. So imagine your brother and sister, your mum and dad, your children, your work colleagues, your boss, your best friend and friends of friend, simply people who aren't into crypto yet. They don't know anything about crypto. Maybe they've never even heard of Cardano. They certainly don't have a Cardano wallet. Let's call these people the mass market Web2 users. We are proposing a toolkit that dApps can integrate themselves that will allow these Web2 users to connect to the dApp in a fully non-custodial way simply by logging in with a social account or email address. Now, I think it's easiest if I show you how simple it can be. So I'll run through the first part quickly. This is what it will look like from a Web2 user's perspective. So here, let's imagine this is your favorite dApp here on the left. It could be an NFT marketplace, an NFT project. It could be a fantastic Web3 game like AdaQuest. It could be any Cardano dApp. So the Web2 user arrives and they'll click login, and then they're presented with Web2 login options, for example, social accounts. The user logs in and is immediately connected to the dApp. Now, it sounds pretty simple, but what is happening behind the scenes is this. So clicking login initiates Wallet Connect, which launches a customized dApp connector window. So we are trying to create a very familiar Web 2 experience, which means that we can do away with any kind of crypto terminology. So this is something that a Web 2 user, like I said before, mum, dad, brother, sister, something they're very familiar with. When they sign in, and this is a very interesting part, signing in authenticates and it fetches shards of a private key from decentralized network nodes, and those shards are reassembled only on the user's device into a working private key, which is injected into NuFi, and then NuFi connects the user's wallet to the dApp. Now, if we want to talk about how this might help Cardano, there are two key reasons we think. Firstly, and simply, it allows the mass market, people who, like I said before, don't know anything about Cardano, to arrive at a Cardano dApp and to be able to connect with zero wallet setup or installation. There's nothing to install or set up. There's no seed phrase to write down, but the user can. We'll get to that in a second. And the user requires zero crypto knowledge at all. We're going for a very familiar Web 2 experience. So I could even say that the user might not even know they have a wallet. And in our proposal, we're calling this kind of an invisible wallet solution, right? I should preface everything I'm saying by saying that this is a fully non-custodial solution. So everything you see here is fully non-custodial. Another key reason that we've proposed this is that onboarding Web 2 users is something that a lot of dApps want to do, but this diagram here illustrates the problem. If a dApp itself integrates directly some kind of Web 2 onboarding solution, we use Web3 Auth, that's a Web 2 onboarding provider. If a dApp integrates directly that solution, then the user's wallet is usable only with that dApp for security reasons. So for every dApp the Web 2 user logs into, they'll have a very different wallet, completely different wallets. They'll have a bunch of wallets, which will be very inconvenient and I imagine quite confusing. But we overcome that by acting as a sort of non-custodial relay or middleman. So it's NuFi that interacts with the onboarding provider, Web3 Auth, and then NuFi connects the user's wallet to the dApp. So that's the same wallet then can be used across multiple dApps, which is far more convenient. Now, from the dApp's perspective, you might be listening to this and thinking, oh, that sounds like a lot of work. It's actually much less work than to integrate, for example, if a dApp wants to integrate Web 2 onboarding themselves. It's difficult, and part of the reason is that this hasn't been done by dApps yet in the Cardano ecosystem. NuFi Wallet, for example, has Web3 Auth installed in it. We've integrated it, so you can create a social account wallet. You can create a non-custodial wallet for all the chains we support simply by logging in with a social account. But for a dApp to do that themselves, it's tricky because the Cardano documentation, for example, is pretty sparse at the moment. With our solution, though, we estimate roughly 1 day of development work, and that will be to integrate Wallet Connect, which a lot of dApps have already done, actually. So if you're a dApp project that has already integrated Wallet Connect support, then just a few lines of code, which is this login button here with a very light library, means that this solution is pretty much ready to go. Now, once the user logs in with a social account, they're immediately connected. Now, what has happened in the background, like I said, is that we have created for them a non-custodial wallet. The user may not even need to use any kind of wallet functionality, but if they do, then we have a button to launch the wallet here. And there's also an integrated fiat on-off ramp, which I think is pretty important for Web 2 users. If you can imagine your brother or sister or your children, for example, they're not going to be able to open a Coinbase or Binance account, most likely, but they don't need to, so they can use the integrated fiat on-ramp to purchase ADA. But also, I imagine as we start to see more Web 2 users coming into Cardano, then dApps themselves will start to, let's say, sell NFTs or game items using credit cards, and they can do that alongside that. But just to let you know that this is integrated in our solution already. Now, security is a massive part of anything that we do. I mentioned before that the private key is stored on decentralized network nodes, and that's fetched to the user's device, and only on the user's device is it reassembled into a working private key. The entire solution and every component of it is fully non-custodial. The user can also add 2FA for an extra layer of security. And we anticipate that as a Web2 user starts to interact with dApps and they become a bit more confident, they will at some point be ready to transition to a more, let's say, traditional Cardano wallet. Ideally a hardware wallet, that's the dream, but maybe in the meantime, let's say a non-custodial mnemonic wallet. So what we'll also do is we'll provide functionality that lets the user create a seed phrase backup. And with that seed phrase backup, they can restore their social account wallet in any non-custodial Cardano wallet. Thank you. I just heard the timer, Pete.
Yeah, good timing. Very, very good timing. All right, awesome. So I've got a couple of questions for you just to kind of clarify the presentation. So I did think of these questions as you're presenting. So the so Web3 Auth, is that your product that you guys are building?
It's not our product, no. It's
Right.
Web3 Auth is basically a leader in the kind of Web2 onboarding space. So
Yeah.
we use them, for example, I know that you're a NuFi wallet fan. So when you log into NuFi, you will see options. You'll see the Google icon, Facebook, and you'll see the social account login. Logging in there creates or opens, if you already have one, your non-custodial wallet. That functionality is provided by Web3 Auth. That is the provider of the Web2 login solution.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, you probably need to also explain the security of that private key and what sharding is as well, and that's all provided by Web3 Auth.
Yes. So Web3 Auth manages the authentication and the retrieval of the private keys. So, of course, if you were to store a private key in its entirety in any one place, then that's a very easy attack vector for bad actors. So, as is common not just in crypto at the moment, but any let's say digital identity wallet, etc., that stores very sensitive data. What happens typically, and what should happen, is that any sensitive data is split and stored in multiple parts. To let's say here, and here. In the solution that we use, the private key is sharded, it's split, and it's stored on decentralized network nodes. So when the user then logs in, these separate parts of the private key are fetched to the device, and only on the device are they reassembled. So basically on their own, if a bad actor, for example, were to intercept them, they wouldn't be able to do anything with it.
Yeah, I've heard other solutions that do something very similar to that, not in the wallet space, but just storing data, just sharding the data and then forming it back, like decentralized storage, like Igon, for example. They do something very similar that way. Okay, very, very, very cool indeed. Now, with the development side of things, so just to clarify, we need to integrate Wallet Connect on the dApp first. And then it's just a little bit of extra code that needs to be added in.
That's right. Yes, that's right. So we've been estimating maybe that's 1 day of dev work for a dApp. The documentation for Wallet Connect is very robust. There are many projects in the Cardano ecosystem who have been integrating Wallet Connect recently. So there's a lot of support for projects who also want to integrate Wallet Connect. And as I said, we firmly believe, because we've integrated this kind of social account login before. It's not simple, right? Integrating Wallet Connect is far simpler and much less costly as well.
All right, cool. All right, I'll make sure I check out that documentation for Wallet Connect and find out a little bit more in regards to that one, and make sure that our own stuff is connected in there, so that way we can do this social login, connected login via NuFi as well. So I'm pretty excited about that. Now, we don't have any questions from the live stream at the moment. So
There's
I think
a couple of things that I would like to add if I
sure.
have a few seconds. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, well, I mean, I already have a wallet. What does it matter to me? I've been mentioning sort of non-crypto users and your brother, your sister, your friends. Part of the strength of this is that you'll be able to recommend your favorite Cardano dApp, or indeed any Cardano dApp, to anybody who isn't a crypto user without needing to give them any instructions on how to set up a wallet. because as I said, in order to create that non-custodial wallet, which is in the background, hidden from the user, and connect it to ADAP, the Web2 user simply needs to sign in with a social account. So you wouldn't need to say to them, okay, go to Chrome Web Store, download this wallet, store the seed phrase, make sure you add a Cardano account, then go back. None of that is necessary. So it makes it as frictionless as possible, but also it's much less annoying to have to tell your friends, oh, you can simply say, go to the DApp, click login, and then you're connected and ready to use it.
Plus, also you have that fiat on ramp on the platform too. So it's just makes it so easy for everyone to just get started. So absolutely brilliant. I can see this being the pathway for the next million users onto the Cardano ecosystem. Awesome. So. Thank you, Ben, for taking us through your Catalyst proposal. It's an absolute pleasure to actually talk to you as well in person. We've been chatting for a long time.
Right?
Awesome. Okay, I'll put everything in the show notes, all the links and references to the Catalyst proposal. And thank you so much, Ben.
Thank you, Pete. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. So our next guest is waiting in the waiting room here. So I'll just let them in. And while that is all connecting, and Darlington, you've got a very nice backdrop there, and you look very cozy. I'll just put a little reminder out there for everyone. We do have a registration period, and you do need to register your Cardano wallets by the 18th of this month. So only another... For me, it's the 17th at the moment, so these time zone things really, really mess me up. But it's about a day and a half left from this recording, so make sure if you are wanting to participate in Cardano's governance, get your wallet ready, register your wallet, and be onboarded onto the Cardano ecosystem and be ready to vote for Project Catalyst. But we have Darlington coming on board here to talk all about his Catalyst proposal now. I believe it's all around the... Catalyst Explorer and his whole ecosystem that he's building there. So Darlington, you've got 5 minutes to go through the Catalyst proposal, and then we have a little bit of time after that for Q&A as well. So whenever you're ready, if you need to share your screen, there's a share screen button at the bottom, but you've been on the show before, so you know the drill. So whenever you're ready, I'll start the timer.
This is great. Just quickly on the registration thing, you have until the epoch boundary, so just make sure register before the epoch turnover. So
thank you for that, Darlington.
But yes, let's get this thing going. Thanks for having me. Yeah, like you mentioned, I will go ahead and share the screen here. As mentioned, this proposal is around the Catalyst Explorer tooling that we provide. And for people who may not know me or who I am or Lido, my name is Darlington. With the Lido Nation crew, we do education in 3 different languages. And outside of that, we also, one of the ways we do education is developer education and apprenticeship. And so along with that, one of the things we maintain and build as a tooling for the community, and also a way to teach people who's wanting to build in Cardano how to do that is using the Catalyst Explorer. I can't screen share because this is a different browser I'm in, and I haven't turned on the permissions, I guess, on this computer for screen sharing, or maybe I can. Let's see. Yep, no, it needs me to quit and reopen. But the link is in. There's no presentation. I was just going to show the proposal text itself. The link, I think it will be in the show notes that leads to the proposal that's on the ballot. Right, there's full proposal that's specifically around the Catalyst Explorer. There is the Catalyst Explorer 2.5, and this is the proposal that will enable additional features to what the Explorer currently offers. I've actually already been releasing some of these features, just because, you know, the community was asking for it and they needed it. So check that out for the list of specific features on there. Quickly, just top level, they are, people love the proposal search and the filters and all that stuff. I want to bring that same experience to other things, companies, monthly reports, stuff like that. And then
I
we
do
want to
have your proposals on screen on share there.
Oh,
So
perfect.
if you
Yes,
want to
yes.
talk through it, I can navigate through them for you.
Thank you so much. That's exactly what I was going for. So if you look at the 2.5 one, it's the one I was just talking about. And if you scroll down to the bounty section, and this actually is a cool one in here that if there are any designers out there, I really want to spend some time. Would you open the Catalyst Explorer 2.5 version, Pete, please?
This isn't it, Catalyst Explorer 2.5?
Oh, it's still showing a list.
Oh, right. Okay. Hang on. This screen, I see what this screen share is doing. It's still sharing the, it opened it in a new window.
Yeah.
In a new tab.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right. Perfect. Yeah. If you scroll down to the milestone, the feasibility and milestone session, you can see the bulk of the things there. Yep, there. Right. So we're looking for someone to help us really design the presentation of when you're on this page. There's just so much data. I'm not a data scientist. I'm not a UI UX person. I'm a full stack dev, and so we have a budget in there to hook up with a designer. So reach out if you're interested in helping us make the tool useful, and you're a designer. And then we're going to introduce some bounties to help with add in more information, and then we're going to introduce this concept of a communities. You know, we've got women proposal, Latin proposal, Africa proposal. We want to make it easy for people to just explore at that community level. So that's this proposal. And then the other three, if you can pop back to the list, it's to add brand new modules to build on top of all this data and add some brand new modules to the tooling. The first one is the DREP module. You know, DREP is coming. And so we want people to get in here and be able to, first of all, register as a DREP. We want you to be able to then go in and see that list of registration, delegate to a DREP. But then we want the DREP to be able to have a place to work, right? And then have a place to communicate with all of their delegators. So they can come in here, start creating their proposals they're going to vote on, start adding notes, and they can choose to share that notes with only people who are delegated to them, or to keep it private to themselves because they're not ready to start having conversation yet, or they can make their notes and rationale public to the entire Cardano community. That's a really cool feature I'm looking forward to. And we're going to introduce some AI for some of the text fields so DREP can write in a native language, and then we will translate that to English. So that's a really cool proposal. It's really going to make the DREP experience very nice and pleasant on day one. That first impression is super important. And then the other proposal is the completed Catalyst project NFT. You know, when you complete a proposal, sometimes you get a hooray. Sometimes your challenge team will write you. Sometimes nothing happens when you complete a proposal until you see that final payment. So
Pretty
we
much
just
nothing
want...
happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
just from experience, it's like you're done. That's it. You do your thing, and that's it.
Yeah. So since we have this tool and people have a way to like claim their profile and prove that they are the owner of the proposal, when you complete a proposal, we want to give you a way for you to mint a completed proposal NFT. Now, all that data goes on chain. You have a little celebratory thing that's in your wallet.
Already off.
Yeah, and that's my time. So just if you're interested in, if you want to support any of these ideas for how to make the tools better, I put them into the individual proposals for the community to check out and vote yes or no.
Brilliant, Darlington. Yes, we are on time there. And of course, my daughter woke up as well. So, you know, this is all live and the cat's running around the room going crazy. Okay. This is I love what you guys are building in the ecosystem around Lido Nation and the Catalyst Explorer. It's been, I think, a lifesaver for me in regards to how much easier it is to go through all these proposals, make a little short list and everything around it. Now, if live listeners haven't seen the interview that I did with Darlington a couple of weeks ago about the Catalyst Explorer, check that one out because it goes through all these features that are available on the Explorer as well. So you can find out a little bit more about exactly how the platform works and some of these really cool features, such as creating your shortlist and allocating vote budget to the various parts too. So it's really, really powerful. Now, I've just checked the live stream. I don't think we have any questions directly from the live stream. So I'm just going to go through the proposals and ask just some general questions. How much are you asking in regards to funding for these proposals? There's 5 of them there. They're split over different categories. Just roughly how much is being asked for?
Yeah, so the 4 is specifically to the Explorer. The other one is not related to the Explorer, and I think my partner Stephanie has a schedule to come talk about that one. But so outside of the one that's not related to the proposal, combined is just over 500,000 ADA. There's 50K for the NFT, 50,000 ADA for the minted NFT project. That will provide free mints for up to 1,000 proposals. For the DREP module with all of the communication between DREPs and their delegators and registration and all of that. That's 148K ADA being asked for that one. That also has some budgets to pay for the AI translation API for non-English speaking DREPs to write in their native language for some of the fields. And then for the specific improvement the community's been asking for, the Catalyst Explorer 2.5, that proposal has 173,000 ADA, and part of that pays for the server infrastructure that make all this stuff works. You know, after Postgres database, DB sync, web servers, search engines, and all the yada yada that makes the whole thing go around.
All the yada yada. Love that. Okay. And what about timeline for these proposals? Again, because there's a few of them. What's the general timeline for delivery of this stuff? Or I'm assuming some of this stuff, since it's paying for servers and 1,000 or so NFTs, it's going to last for quite a while.
Right, some of them will last for 2-3 years. The NFT is whenever we've minted 1,000 of them. But otherwise, it all will be delivered within 9 months to a year. I think the biggest one is 10 months. And this is not just me. One of the very first proposals we were funded for was to establish a blockchain lab in Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya. And I spent 9 months of my life apprenticing and developing Cardano specific devs in that facility. So I think we had like 8 or 9 people come through. Only about 4 could cut the mustard that have stuck around. So there's a team of 5 devs that will be building all of this out over the course of 10 months. And we will be, we're working with Direct Ed to bring in 3 of their recent graduates as the new apprentice class that will also be helping with the software development. So really this will pay for, let's see, 8-9 people over the course of 10 months.
Yeah, that's amazing that these proposals have educated new developers into the Cardano ecosystem, upskilled them, and then now technically possibly giving them jobs as well for the next 10 or so months. So, you know, this is a very impactful proposal. It's not just creating a brilliant tool for the Cardano ecosystem. It's also onboarding new developers into the Cardano ecosystem and giving them jobs, upskilling them, and everything else around it. So I absolutely love this one, Darlington.
Yeah, that's the idea. The onboarding, giving them jobs, it's huge because after this, they would have done CIP 30 stuff, CIP 45 stuff. They would have like done metadata and like doing registration dashboards and all that stuff. And they will be ready to help with other projects if we don't have, you know, additional work for them to do. So it's pretty cool.
That's big. That's brilliant. All right. I'll make sure all the links and references to all the proposals are in the show notes for this one. I'll link it off to the Lido Nation one so people can actually see and experience what it's all like as well. And Darlington, thank you so much for joining me on the episode again.
Thanks for having me. And if you don't have a lot of time, if you go to that list that Peter's gonna put out. Sorry. You can toggle the video mode and you can listen to all 5 of our quick pitches in a playlist directly on the site to give you a very short, good spam of all the proposals. We will appreciate your vote if you want to see more development or if you use the tool. Thank you for having us. And thanks for doing this for the community, Pete.
Not a problem, not a problem. And thank you for building an awesome tool. This it's all a labor of love, I think.
100 as Cook Time would say. Bye everyone. Thanks.
I've got a little applause for you here. Hang on. Forgot to hit the applause for other people. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. All right. Awesome. Well, awesome, Darlington. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
That is it for another Catalyst Sprint number 6. Don't forget to check out all the links to the proposals in the show notes. I'll put them up with the chapter markers very, very soon. And if you're wanting to register for that wallet, Darlington did point out it's at that epoch boundary. So it's coming up very soon. End of this epoch, you need to have your wallets registered and all on chain so that it's all ready for voting. So make sure you get your wallets ready. Now, if you're wanting more projects, we have another Catalyst Sprint coming up tomorrow. So we have another one coming up and another 4 projects we're presenting, and then I have another one on Saturday. So we're doing this almost daily at the moment to get through as many proposals as possible. So thank you so much for joining me on the live stream. Thank you so much for asking questions, commenting, and make sure you hit that like button on the live stream. Likes are the major thing that gets the live streams through the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm, and seen by other people as well. So thanks so much.